The terrible twos. If you have children, you know what this is all about. And with respect to felines, well, they've got their own rebellious phase. If your cat is between roughly 6 months and 2 years of age, then you likely know that sometimes it can be rather difficult to reel your cat in and get them to behave. When curiosity clashes with a seemingly endless supply of energy, we get the feline version of those terrible twos. In this material, I'll talk about this rebellious stage in a cat's life, provide a better understanding of why it all happens, and also provide you with the skills that you'll need to make it through this rather stressful time as a cat owner. Stay tuned. Before I begin today's video in full, I'd like to briefly address the music situation with regards to this channel. As of the current time, early April of 2023, the theme music that I've had for about 2 years, music that many of you have grown to know and love, has been, unfortunately, removed. In short, the copyright rules that were originally set in motion concerning that piece of music have changed. And because I'm not grandfathered in, let's say, the music from my prior video was flagged. And because you have to follow the rules if you want to play the game, I've decided that the best course of action would be to silence that audio track moving forward. I hope to find new music in the future, but until then, things will be rather quiet. Thank you all for understanding, and thank you for all the wonderful comments over the years that I've received just on that piece of music alone. It was always fun to read that your cats would perk up when that music would play. At any rate, thank you all so very much. Now, back to business. If you're a regular around these parts, you'll know that my most recent video post and publication order involved the question, will my cat mellow out with age, get a bit calmer as time passes? In that video, I went through the life stages, and I also keyed in on the ages of 6 months to 2 years, and spoke of them essentially as the live wire years, the potential problem years. Well, that brings us right up to the here and now in today's topic, the rebellious phase. If you've noticed that your cute and playful kitten, once kitten, has now become a bit much to handle and would rather turn laps in your living room than play with that ball of string, then, well, you as an owner, you've entered, unfortunately, that feline version of the terrible twos. Between the ages of 6 months and 2 years, cats become far more curious while also learning to gain that all-important independence. This means that your cat will become more and more likely to embark on some of life's adventures, and they won't be afraid to take that journey without you. Gone are the days where your cat followed you around and looked for you as a source of protection. There's a new game now, and it's called Catch Me If You Can. And just like children, cats can mix this newfound curiosity and independence with a huge case of stubbornness. You'll likely discover that the more you attempt to reel your cat in, the more they'll do the opposite of what you want them to do. A bit of trolling, perhaps. That's another way to look at it. If your cat is in the backyard and they come right up to the door acting like they want in only to turn around and run away. This stage of life is all about testing those limits and with it perhaps testing your patience. As far as the why of the matter is concerned, it really all comes down to maturity, both physical and sexual maturity. Once a cat learns more and is exposed to new and different things, it can be hard to pump the brakes and say no. At the top end of this stage, around the age of 2, your cat will start acting almost like a human teenager, giving in to impulses and doing some questionable things that could put them in some harm's way, especially if they're allowed to roam outdoors. Kids, teens, and 2-year-old cats, they've actually got a lot in common with respect to what makes them tick. Another thing about this rebellious phase or stage that you'll also find is that some cats between the ages of 6 months and 2 years, due to this newfound independence, they'll need you a bit less, perhaps a lot less. I briefly spoke about the days of following you around and looking for you for protection being things of the past. Well, playtime and those cuddle sessions with you in charge, those could also become things of the past, at least for a time. One of the hallmarks of the rebellious stage involves life on their terms, life on your cat's terms, and anything you do is often seen as an obstacle. And sometimes if this clash is unable to be sorted out, this is where a grand divorce could happen. There's a reason that younger felines are given away or turned loose into the streets. This, the rebellious stage, is one of the reasons. This is why you don't see too many stray cats roaming around that are of senior status. If an owner were to ever throw their hands up and just give up, it would typically be when a cat they've cared for is around 2 years of age. And while some cats will obviously be far more rebellious than others, it's safe to say that you'll likely notice some rather stark behavioral changes from early kittenhood compared to, say, 24 months later. The physical changes are a given, but not everyone is ready for that independent streak to grow and potentially border on out of control. As an owner, it's imperative that you simply go with the flow. The ultimate goal is to develop a bond of trust with your cat, and the longer you attempt to fight the tide, the more your cat could begin to view you as the problem, thus shattering any hope of trust and also any hope of getting your cat to calm down a bit. As your cat changes and the curiosity increases and the energy hits an all-time high, allow your pet to reach their full potential in a positive way. Change your cat's diet according to their age, perhaps with the advice of a vet. Also allow your cat to hunt and stalk courtesy of new toys. Introduce a scratching post, perhaps a cat tree. Give your cat a brand new bed, an entirely new setup designed for the times. Allow your cat to live the life of a growing feline rather than the life of a very young kitten. It's just like a child. As they grow, your job as a parent is to set those all-important guidelines and ground rules, but it's also imperative that you let them have what they need at that age, in that stage, to be successful. One of the biggest ways to reel in your cat's rebellious tendencies is to supply them with what they need in order to meet the moment. To the audience of Senior Cat Wellness, I'll now turn things right on over to you. The rebellious stage, those terrible twos. Is your cat in the midst of it right now and you're in the midst of pulling your hair out right now as an owner? How are things going? Is it a nightmare or are things just chilling like a beverage on ice? If you have a current story to share about the real-time adventures, let's call them, or something you'd like to say about how you managed to get through the rebellious stage with your pet, please let me know in the comments section. It's all yours. If you enjoyed this content, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you as a member of the Senior Cat Wellness family. And until next time, thank you so very much for watching, and I will talk to you later.